Hello, racing fans. Welcome to another very special Perfect Trip Roundtable. This one's sponsored by Meadowlands Racing and Entertainment. Of course, we have the big Meadowlands Pace 2023 card coming up this Saturday, July 15th, 2023. It's a 14-race program. The Meadowlands Pace will go as race 11. Plenty of other big stakes races on that card, though. So, as usual, we have assembled some of the best and brightest in Ray Cotolo to break down the stakes card, and I guess we'll start the introductions below me with one Mr. Ray Cotolo. But before we throw to Ray, we have to acknowledge a very important birthday today. It is track announcer Matt Denny's birthday today, right, Ray?
Oh, it's also Tom Kenny's birthday. You might know him as SpongeBob. Less people know him for Mr. Show. Han Solo was born today too. Did you know that?
All right, come on, Ray. Come on, everyone else. We can all do this. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ray.
Wow.
Happy birthday to you. Thank you all for the support. That was fantastic.
How old
are you now? Do we have to do the how old are you now?
This is my 13th birthday, so I'm glad that I can celebrate it all with.
That's
you.
about what you were though when you started the first show. So
At 13 years old, 13 pounds. Yeah. Grown since then.
All right, well, next door to Ray, we have Robert Reid Jr. of the Woodbine Mohawk Horse Players Journal and the other tracks of Ontario that he works. Robert, welcome as always.
Always a pleasure to be here, Edison.
And we have the editor of the DRF Harness, as it says there on screen, Derick Giwner, joining us as usual. And Derick will be on site this Saturday, Meadowlands Pace.
Yeah, can I have any more DRF on me? I got a shirt, I got the hat, I got my one night, one place, one pace behind me. So we're ready for Meadowlands Pace.
Huh. Above him, Mike Pribozie. Mike's also coming out this year for Meadowlands Pace 2023. And Mike's doing a little DRF harness work for Garnet Barnsdale this week.
yeah, lots of I got my DRF, getting my DRF on too. So somebody thinks I must be okay to be doing that stuff.
And speaking of Garnet Barnsdale, he cannot join us. He is partying it up in Saratoga. I think dodging some severe thunderstorms tonight. But hey, that means an opportunity for a new face. And Thomas Svensson should be familiar on recent podcasts for those that have listened to our Swedish coverage here for In the Money Media. But Thomas, we're happy to have you on to talk this Meadowlands Pace card.
Pleasure and honor to be on the card with you guys so we can chat a little Meadowlands racing.
And Thomas also will be there in person, and I guess I will show up in person too. So that's four of us that'll be there in person on Meadowlands Pace Night. Definitely recommend joining if you're in the area looking for something to do. The greatest evening in harness racing. Again, millions of dollars literally on the line in stakes money on this huge card, and plenty of other promotions and food trucks and all sorts of stuff for you to check out at the Meadowlands. So highly recommend joining in person. But regardless, whether in person or remote, you can go to playmeadowlands.com for the free program pages that are available. And if you are looking for further Meadowlands Pace coverage besides this roundtable, I'll highly recommend the other show sponsored by Meadowlands Racing Entertainment today that was put out earlier this afternoon. It was recorded live then, but it is archived already on the Meadowlands Facebook and YouTube pages. It is the Meadowlands Pace review and preview, reviewing last week's races, looking at this week's races, talking a little bit of history, statistics, and other stuff with our very own Jessica Otten from the Meadowlands, as well as Greg Blanchard, who's made a little bit of home with us at the Meadowlands the last couple of weeks. So definitely check out their show in addition to this one, and then you should be pretty much ready to go for a Meadowlands Pace 2023. But we got a lot to get to on this roundtable, so we will just jump into it. We will cover all of the stakes races, and they will start in race 3. The Del Miller Memorial 3-year-old filly trotters. We had a split here of two separate divisions, both with fields of 7. And race 3, Secret Volo, the 5-2 morning line favorite. A horse I don't like that I know Ray Cotolo's top pick is. So Ray, just hit us with it right away.
Well, it's not a Secret Volo. I don't think she's going to be much of a secret, for one, because everyone bets Marcus Melander in trot races. For good reason. He tends to win them. If I'm going to bet money on horses, I like to bet horses that can win. For her, I understand why she would take play, but I don't know what you have against Instagram Model. We saw two completely different races and have two different opinions on what that race meant for her going forward. I know some might have thought that she might not have looked as sharp. But what I saw in that late kick that she put in that final quarter against older horses, especially since she hadn't raced in a month, I think she could have some rattly bones. Maybe she could get some Jiffy Lube or whatever, get all ready to go for a second start off the bench. Because that most recent mile when she was third to Justice, I don't see there's anything wrong with that. But I guess everyone else says, no, that's not a good race. And I don't know why. Tell me why. Why is it not a good race? Someone.
Well, I'll defer to Derick Giwner. Derick will always happily call one of us an idiot, Ray. So it's either you or I. Derick, what do you think on Instagram model in this race? And if not her, who do you like?
I liked her race last time. I thought she raced well. I thought she did what you would expect her to do in that particular class. You know, this is obviously backing against just straight 3-year-old fillies. Do I expect her to leave here? No. I don't look at this as the race where she's saying, hey, I got to win this race. I picked her on top, but I don't feel strongly about it. I feel like she's still going to have to work out a trip to win the race. Secret Bowl is clearly going to the front here. Quick Stop was good last time. Like I said, I don't feel strongly about it, but I went Instagram model.
Well, Mike, it seems like those outside three are kind of the ones we're focusing on here, and I know you like one of them.
Yeah, I like Secret Bolo. I think that she's really turned the corner at 3, especially these last 3 races. I mean, if you look at these last 3 races, you know, she's won twice and second to Special Way. And she was raging in the stretch in that race on June the 2nd. Needed that race, I thought, at Yonkers and crushed from an outside post. Somehow you got almost 9-1 on her. I didn't mind her in that race. She was very good there. She wasn't really expected to win. The comment in the program, big move. Well, it was, and she never looked a loser. Now she looks even better to me in this race. I don't really want any part of Instagram model at all. I think that she's a little bit overrated. You know, her reputation, I think, is not really shown this year compared to what she was at 2. She's just going to eat money in the race, and they're just going to bring the price up on Secret Bolo. I think that she is about as sure a thing as there is on the entire card. That's my best bet of the weekend, really. I really don't think she can lose the race.
I think she's gonna be. Well, she's got to be 6-5, right? I don't think you're gonna be the only one.
6-5's value on her.
Okay.
Value.
Okay.
I think.
I feel that's an underlay in this race.
Okay, well.
Everything you say is everything else everyone else is seeing on the form. Everyone knows Special Way. Remember what she did.
When she wins by 3, then, you know, you'll be happy to cash that ticket.
Okay, but I'd be happy to cash on a 3-1 shot that I might get an Instagram model.
Okay.
Well, Mike, when you said Secret Bowl is the surest thing on this card, Robert Reid Jr.'s eyes were very wide. So either strongly agrees or strongly disagrees. Which is it?
Well, it can't be the surest thing on the card. I mean, I don't think that's the case. I think there's some other horses on the card that can't lose that we'll get to later. But Secret Bolo was incredible last time. Only defeat last 3 a Special Way. But I'm with Ray. I love Instagram model in here. I really do. I thought the effort last time was a good one. I think that you know, she's going to come up with probably her best performance of her. Well, she's going to need it of her sophomore campaign in this start. Watching the replays, I think it's hard to knock her latest effort. I thought it was really good, and I do think Secret Bowl is going to be bet heavily, and maybe 6-5 is the right price on her, but I still think she's worth playing against. An Instagram model will suck a little bit of money, but I don't think she'll take enough that she won't be value in there. So it's funny. We're discussing the 2 horses mostly between all of us, and for me, it's Instagram model for value, but I do recognize Secret Bowl is the one to beat.
Thomas, how'd you see this race?
For me, it's like it's only 7 horses field. So, and I know the horse is very, very good in this race. Like Secret Bowl, I work for Lucas Wallin, so I'm see Secret Bowl every day on the farm there. So she's been training super good down this year, and the performance she did on Yonkers last time was super good. But the one thing with Secret Bowl people need to know about is she's not the best horse if they try to go in lead with her, because she's waiting for all the horses. She's better to go first up or at least have a cover. Can she win this race if she comes to the lead? Yes, she can, but she can be very lonely in the front. Instagram model is, for me, the horse in the race, but it's like was bleeding little the last couple of races last year. That's why they put her on LASIK here, and I haven't been like super happy with her this year. She's been little on the line, looked little sore. When they have left little with her or used a little hard in the beginning, she haven't the punch to the end. Last time was post 8 against the boys, so that's why they just took her off the gate, and she finished, like you guys saw, very good on the inside with the 26 on a piece last quarter. Only 7-horse field. She don't gonna sit far behind, and if she just gonna get little help the last half, I think Instagram Model is the horse to play in this race. Quick Stop, never been a big fan of that horse. She doesn't look anything for me, but she made 300,000. I lost much money on the last year because I never bet her. I always go against her. I'm gonna go against her again. So it's 2 horses right now. I will pick Instagram Model, but Secret Wulu, she is super.
So that is 4 votes there for Instagram Model, 1 for Secret Volo. I'll toss the vote in for Quick Stop. Those first 2 starts kind of got him under a belt to start the year, but I thought took a nice step forward last time out in the Reynolds. Looks to take another step forward here, and based on at least our discussions, might actually be the best price of those 3. But based on this table, Mike, your price on Secret Volo is looking pretty good here. Nonetheless, we will turn the page to the other division of the Del Miller Memorial. That's race 4, same conditions, going for that same $105,250. And I try not to go to the same person first twice, but it's Ray's birthday, so we'll go to him twice. Ray, Bond, they left show betting in on this race. Bridge jump, right?
Yeah, we could spend like 10 seconds on this race. She only lost twice. I don't even remember how she lost those races, but every time I think she's not going to be able to get her way, she gets her way. And so at a certain point, I just go, well, what's the point? What's the point of trying? You ever ask yourself that? What's the point of trying sometimes? Feels like you put more work in than it's really worth. Bond's going to be 1-9. Just take it. I will say, if you're looking at anyone else in the race for the underneath spots, I'm curious how they're going to bet Rose Run Yolanda in this spot, because I don't know how much money goes towards these Ohio circuit horses, but she's been one that has been the eye catcher of her division over there since she was a 2-year-old, and she's been showing exquisite speed in certain parts of the races. So I don't know how much she could really challenge a horse like Bond, since I believe this is their first time encountering one another, saying hi, hello, how are you? But at the right price, Rose Run Yolanda could certainly finish the exacta, at least I think.
So, Ray, a horse you leave off there, don't mention, is Mambasita, who you, Mr. Oak
I didn't
Grove,
mention a bunch of horses in that race.
well, you work on the Oak Grove simulcast feed each and every race day, which I forgot to mention at the beginning there. So, Mambasita, what did you make of her 3 starts down there your way?
Yeah, I work Oak Grove every single day. We're back racing Sunday, 2024. So thank you for that plug, Edison. Mambasita was not in against horses that are like Bond and Rose Run Yolanda, and even one like Amira Mill. It was a bit of a weaker competition for the sophomore trotting fillies in that Kentucky Sire Stake. Catholic even from the Marcus Melander barn. An all right filly, but one that if she was in a race like this, I can't imagine she would be anything lower than 10-1, just based off the kinds of performances she's capable of at this moment. Same time, Mambasita was never asked an inch in any of those wins. So we don't really know how much those workout miles for her maybe tuned her up, tightened her to put in an improved performance from when she was losing against Special Way and Secret Volo in the New Jersey Sire Stakes. But I wouldn't necessarily say, I think this is a move up in class where it's almost like she went to a cabin in the woods, and now here she is coming back to society and showing us, what does she got? I don't know. I don't know what kind of price she's going to be. I think she's going to take a bit more play than I would like, though.
Mike, whenever Ray says we can spend 10 seconds on this race, does it seem like those are the races that actually take the longest for him to discuss?
I don't know how you ever get them.
You asked me a follow-up question. That added a 2 minutes. I tried to get it done in 15 seconds.
Well, I like Mambasita. I think that she's worth a look here because Bond's going to be 1-9, and she's kind of been. I mean, everyone knows how good she is. She's been being up on the same horses. I think that Mambasita has faced some decent horses if you look back to the Special Ways, and yeah, she didn't win, but she's lost the Secret Volo Special Way. Now she went down to Kentucky, got some confidence. She made almost $500,000 last year. She's got an inside draw. She's probably going to be sitting on Bond's back. She's going to have the chance to win the race. She might not be good enough, but you're going to get paid if you do like her. If you get Bond out of multis, that's another huge positive. So I'm willing to take a shot with Mambasita in the race because I think she's going to get the trip. She's going to have every chance to win. So yeah, she might be an underlay in the win pool, but she's an overlay in all the multis, and that's where I want her.
So a vote for Mambacita, a vote for Bond. Thomas, what's your insight on this race?
I'm a little agree with Mike here because I'm a hard better on the pick 4 and pick 5 pool. So Bond gonna be like maybe 95% of the pool in the pick 4. For me, Bond is the best filly in US on a 5/8 track. She have the gait, she have the speed on a 5/8, but we're racing on Meadowlands, and I think when she's gonna go up against little better fillies, the home stretch gonna be a little too long. Last time she didn't clear anything to Bella Macchiato that I'm not high on, and like you guys said, Mambacita, but there's a little interesting here with Heaven Hanover. I don't say Heaven Hanover go out and gonna win. She's gonna maybe be a 15 to 1 shot or something. I think the plan is to race her with no shoes for the first time, Heaven Hanover. So, and Ray said run Yolanda is another. I'm gonna have 4 horses here, but Mambacita behind. It's gonna be an Aki race. I wouldn't be shocked if we're gonna see 58 to the half.
Robert, what do you have for us?
Well, I mean, love it when the shoes come off. Obviously, we all love that. So that's intriguing. Rose run Yolanda. I mean, I tried to get there on one to beat Bond. I couldn't do it. I thought Bond just looks like she can't lose in here. But I agree with Mike. I mean, if you're gonna look in a direction to beat her, it's Mambacita for me. I don't know what she's really done wrong. And while Ray said wasn't beating up on much down there, it's still we have no idea what her ceiling is after those last 3. I mean, we do from what she's done before against these types, but I mean, she certainly held her own, and I think she's the most logical one to complete the exact. I mean, I'm probably going to sound like a chalk eating weasel throughout this whole show. I'm just going to be honest, but I think that Bond isn't going to lose in here. I really don't see how it happens, and I do agree that obviously if you're playing the races and you're trying to win and trying to make money, you need to get her beat in the multis, but I just don't see it happening. So for me, she'll be singles and I'll be looking elsewhere.
Worth noting with Mambacita, she equaled the track record in that final at Oak Grove without being shown the whip, for whatever that's worth. That record set by Blue Bayou Deo, for the astute of you who want to see where she is now.
But you've been downplaying her though. Like you're now giving us all these points on how good she is.
I'm not. I add that as an extra piece of information. I don't think Mambacita off a 58.5 is going to outsprint Bond. That's ultimately, Thomas mentioned, I think the key element to this race. And every time Bond races, no one challenges her. If it's a race where it shapes that somehow someone wants to press her to the half, it's a different race. But if they get to that half in 56, 57, Mambacita, no matter how close she is not outsprinting Bond.
Well, for me, Bond's impressiveness to me really came last year. That fall Final Four, the Goldsmith made the elimination in the final. Those are 2 really impressive efforts to me. So Bond on top at the short price, Mambacita underneath. I'll join Robert's chalk wagon. Derick, chalk for you or something else?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's not that I feel like Bond is some unbeatable horse, but she's very push button. It's a short field. She's going to be controlling this race. And it's just going to be very hard, I think, to beat her. I think if there was a horse that I was going to take a shot with against her, and I'm not saying I will, it would probably be Heaven Hanover, because I really don't know what she could do on the big track yet. If she's going to go without shoes, that would obviously boost her stock a little bit here. I think she's a horse that could potentially leave the gate and get into position. And if she does sit the pocket behind Bond, I'm not going to be on Mambacita. She could win, I guess. She could finish second. I probably won't be using her a ton.
What if Yannick decides to go with Mambacita, though? Because, I mean, he went in the New Jersey Star Stakes final against Special Way. I mean, it ultimately led to him losing, but he had the 9-hole there. He had to go. He has the 2-hole. He could go. He could try to control the race.
She could go if she wants, but she's not going to control. There's no chance on this earth Mambacita is leaving faster than Bond. 0, 0, 0.
It could happen where I'm at right now, but I agree with Derick. No
She's
chance.
too fast. Bond is like a
too
pacer
fast.
off the gate.
Yeah,
Pacer.
But Bond is pushing the gate out, so.
Bond is too fast. There's no way Mambacita is getting the front over Bond.
No way. No chance.
So before we turn the race on this page, or turn the page on this race, Thomas, back to you real quick. So you mentioned, obviously, with having Hanover taking the shoes off, obviously we've got possibly some thoroughbred listeners out there, some novice harness players. Describe for us what you mean when you're talking about taking the shoes off and how that factors into handicapping.
For me, who is like from Scandinavia, we get that information when people is entering the horses over there, and it's been better in here in the US. You see, especially the Swedish trainer like Aki has been doing it all the time. Melander does it, Tactor does it, and Burke is one of the American trainers who do it. And they clear up the gate. They need to save a little foot on them, and they get cleaner gate. And but you need to like slow them a little down in the post braid, get a feel. Like my opinion of the trotters, 90% of the horses get better if they race with no shoes. Like Freedom Rick, that you have seen, or almost every horse is racing with no shoes.
All right, well, we will turn the page next to the next stakes race on the card. That is, actually, before we do, I should mention, we'll go to race 6, the Hamiltonian Maturity. But for what it's worth, for pick 4s on Saturday, a little different sequences than usual at the Meadowlands. So talking about exotics, so the pick 5, the usual, races 1 through 5. But 3 pick 4 sequences, races 4 through 7, 8 through 11. That one finishes in the Meadowlands Pace, and 11 through 14 with one starting in the Pace. And we'll give out some tickets later on for that middle pick 4 that ends with the Pace. But race 6 is up next. The Hamiltonian Maturity, 1 mile and an eighth. So a little bit of a different distance. But Derick, this probably could be a 10-second race we could discuss. Jiggy Jog?
Jiggy Jog? I mean, it's hard to find reasons to play against Jiggy Jog at this point. I mean, I thought Cool Papa Bell was a little bit better last time. Apparently, he had some sickness going on. I kind of like Eminem's Dream a little, but I don't know what to do with the coming off Lasix, because it doesn't say in the program how much Lasix this horse is getting. You know, is this horse getting a small amount? Is she getting a lot? I don't know. What I do know is that Looks Like Money and Eminem's Dream both have early speed. The 1 mile and an eighth race helps them from the outside. They have a longer run into that first turn, have a better chance to get into position. I still think Jiggy Jog is going to Jiggy Jog.
Okay, Ray, there is no show betting here, so we're going to have to place jump on Jiggy Jog.
You can jump wherever you want, Edison. I know people say for you to jump. You ask how high. In this case, though, to me, the way I was looking at this race, because it's that added distance, is who goes forward. Because a lot of these horses are coming off of races where they go backwards. Final quarter mile, Keg Stand went backwards. Raised by Lindy didn't really go forward last out. Slay went backwards. So to me, I'm also kind of looking at who can get the extra distance. Jiggy Jog is a no-brainer just based off of how powerfully she's been going. But I think this could be an interesting exotics race outside of Cool Papa Bell, because he's the only other one that has shown really a strong punch to the finish, and also doesn't have the Lasix question being asked at all. I'm kind of curious what Pretender is going to do, though, in a race like this, because sometimes he's not the smoothest gated. He showed it last time, but I remember they tried some different shoes. I don't know if that had anything to do with the break and stride, if they're going to try a different piece of equipment here with him today or whenever this Saturday. But he can go forward at the end of miles, and I don't see him trying to be super aggressive, maybe more so try and find his way into the race. And the fact that he's not on Lasix too, that could make him a live long shot versus horses like Looks Like Money, who when he was off Lasix was kind of a handful. Slay, who really is only good off a helmet, but he hasn't been showing that same kind of fire in his last couple of starts. I don't know what to make a Keg Stand either. That was a total 180 from the mile he went on June 24th. So Jiggy Jog's the obvious one, but I think the inside two are probably the best shots to use if you're betting exactas or tries.
Robert, you said you're going to be chalky tonight, or Jiggy Jog, or you're going to really throw a curveball at us?
We're still curveball here. I mean, Jiggy Jog's most probable winner in the card, right? I think so. Cool Papa Bell. I mean, what basically echoing what others are saying as well. I thought the effort was really good last time. I like Ray's idea, longer race. We want to go to the horses that have been finishing stronger. They're going to be feeling brave, and Cool Papa Bell, I think, fits that bill. So that's what I'm going to be zeroing in on is Jiggy Jog over Cool Papa Bell, and then maybe trying to find some other value underneath in the try of the Super.
Jiggy Jog for me over Cool Papa Bell. I will go back to Keg Stand. Hopefully get back closer to that mile 2 starts ago compared to last week. But Thomas, what about you for this race?
It's Jiggy Jog. I think she can be maybe unbeaten this year, like especially after Bella Bellini got retired. I have nobody beat Jiggy Jog. I'm a little agree with Ray there. Like with Pretender can be a player in the exotic. He definitely. I know Pretender very good from the time I worked for Nancy Tacton when he was 2-year-old. He benefit of the little longer distance. I would say Cool Papa Bell Pretender behind a Jiggy Dog. I will be shocked. Benefits of the longer distance.
Mike.
Yeah, I mean Jiggy Jog's probably the most. I know I said Secret Volo, but I mean a horse that's actually not going to be 1 to 50. In the races, and so you can actually maybe make a bet. I mean, this race is pretty obvious. I will say though, you guys love Instagram Model, so you have Justice in here who just beat Instagram Model off a drop, and no Lasix question there. You got an inside draw. I could see throwing that horse in 3rd and 4th, even the complete and exacta, because I think the 3-1 exacta is going to pay about $4.
Instagram Model in this race will finish last. I mean,
that's true. She's not a good litmus test.
Regardless, you're moving her up off of that race, and so this horse must be pretty good.
Competition than these horses.
Besides one horse,
Justice is
maybe one horse.
More than one horse.
Yeah,
I think if Jiggy Jog and Instagram Model were in a race together, Instagram Model would go cry in the bathroom after the race was done.
Regardless, if you're taking that race as a key race and a live race, then how can you not like the horse that won it?
We're saying because she raced well in that race. We're not taking that as a key race where every horse coming out of that race has to be good.
No. But if that was a good race, I think that and there's no Lasix question on this horse, that I'm not saying the horse can win, but he can certainly get a piece.
I do think because of the mile and an eighth, and in terms of who goes forward, Justice is one that could do that. But I look at it more by virtue of that angle versus how I like Instagram Model, because her as a 3-year-old performing well against older horses while she's in a 3-year-old stake is a much different circumstance than a 4-year-old who beat a 3-year-old.
No, I know that. I'm aware of ages and fillies versus mares and males versus females and such like that. But I just was making a point.
The horse who have maybe, if you go away from Jiggy Dog, who have like the form that looks like money. He is like the horse who maybe is the sharpest behind her. Like Justice, there was a value last time. He was gonna walk that normally if he was okay last time that race. And the other Slay haven't showed me anything this year. MM Stream from that post there with the Purple Jesus, he gonna just take her off the gate. It's Jiggy Jog and Cool Papa Bell Pretender. It looks like money for me. I will be also shocked if Justice is an exotic horse.
Alrighty, Ray, before we turn the page, we'll throw you the bone for your birthday. Give us the 2 30-second explanations. Our listeners out there, Ray, a mile and an eighth, a harness race, not at a mile. Why, and how do we handicap it?
Jesus Christ, how many birthday gifts are you going to give me? Mile and an eighth, it's an eighth of a mile longer than every harness race that is mostly held. I would say on Earth, but because Thomas is here, I know he would quickly correct me. Sweden and France, they race at different distances, I think because they're fun. But in America, part of why they're called standard breds is the term standard. There are a lot of things that are standard, and among them is the distance. Every race is just race for a mile. I think there's also some kind of like cultural reason based on the breed of how standard breds work and like how they were used as workhorses and whatever. But that we don't have time for an anthropology segment here on this show. So I guess come back for the Hambo show when I'll have probably a much more in-depth answer, or maybe we can make a harness land about it if someone gives me $5,000.
All right, Ray. One more question.
There is only one thing with this race for the Barriers is like when it is a mile and 1/8, it's gonna be like on Mohawk that you can get other people leaving because the stretch is going to be a little longer.
All right, Ray, we'll throw one more question at you. We're going to discuss several races coming up where there's an 11 horse. Where does the 11 horse start from? What happens if there's a scratch? Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, 11 horse starts in the second tier. The second tier means that horse starts behind all the other horses on the starting gate. I'm trying to remember how else I answered this on other shows.
I know I've given this before.
If there's only one trailer, then that horse can follow any horse they want off of the gate. If there are two trailers, only the outermost horse can follow whoever they want, so on and so forth. If there's a scratch along the gate, that horse remains in the second tier. Does that sound like the script they usually do?
Yep, sounds good to me. And
Can we talk about race 8 now?
We will go to race 8. The Mistletoe Shalee, the 3-year-old filly pacers. They are 11 of them here, so Strong Poison will start in that second tier. And we better go to Robert Reid Jr. first to tell us about Sylvia Hanover's first trip out of Canada.
Yeah, I mean, listen, to me, she's absolutely incredible. First of all, her only defeat came from the trailing post, the pesky trailing post at Mohawk Park, which is literally a death spot to start from. And listen, she's been. I mean, to me, she's looking like she's generational talent. I mean, I don't know what else she could do out there. She goes out and dominates every single start. She does it with condescending ease. And every start seems better than the last. She's looked good horses in the eye and gone right on by and opened up by as much as she pleased. So I can't say it about Sylvia Hanover. And I think she goes out there and absolutely dominates. Which just, again, I told you, it's nothing interesting with me in this show, unfortunately, because I'm going to be on chalk pretty much the whole way through. She's got to go off as a hefty favorite, right? I mean, there's no one that's going to really take money. There's going to be money going other directions, maybe here and there, but nothing that's going to make her pay anything worthwhile. But her last season was incredible. 8 for 9. Again, that one defeat came from the trailing post where she was still tons the best. And this season, she's been lights out at every call. I thought that her debut at 3 against older horses in a spot where, we always talk about, there's bigger dances coming up. I mean, she went by them. It was effortless. And then obviously Fan Hanover, the elimination in the final could not have been better. So I could write a love story about Sylvia Hanover. Absolutely love her in here. And for me, I like Cultured underneath. Cultured for me would have been a horse that if she got third in the Fan Hanover, I could have probably got rich on that race. Would have been really nice. Fourth was still okay for the Super and everything. But I do think, last time obviously, hooked up wicked speed on the front end. She's the one I'm going to zero in underneath Sylvia Hanover. I think Cultured's been racing really well this season, a lot better than maybe the program would indicate.
If you're going to say the word cultured, we better go to Mike Pribozie next, because I think he's a little high on her here.
Why would you think that?
Yeah, Mike is the man of culture on this podcast. He's on the pulse, both as a professional and as a connoisseur.
Yeah, I don't know where any of this is coming from, but the thing about Sylvia Hanover is that she screwed around at 2, right? She was, playing around out there most of the time, and she'd make the front and then kind of wait on horses and then go by horses again. This year she's a wrecking machine, and she just has matured so much that there's I don't think there's any horse in this race that can beat her. But here's the only question: now she's got to hit the road, right? She's been racing at Mohawk all this time. Now she has to hit the road. It's going to be a test, and it could affect the price on her maybe a little bit, maybe bring it up a little bit. I think she's not going to be 1-9 in the race. No, I think that she's probably, I don't know, maybe 3-5, which if you like her, is fine. I don't know what to do with Winby Joe Fresh in the race. I mean, the horse has giant speed, but whenever she faced Sylvia Hanover up at her court, she just was no match. She certainly tried her best, but then she was no match. Well, now Sylvia Hanover's got to come to and face her at her court. And let's see. I mean, if you like that horse, you're going to get a decent price. You'll probably get 3 or 4 to 1. If you like her, and again, you're starting to pick 4 here. This is the big pick 4. You beat Sylvia Hanover in that first leg, you're eliminating 75, 80, 90% of the tickets. We haven't even said a word about Strong Poison, who probably is going to end up being the second choice in the race, coming out of a 48 mile off the bench for Burke. Is that horse going to get lost because of the second tier? It's more interesting, I think, than just the favorite. It's a good race. There's 3 main contenders in the race, and the fact that Sylvia Hanover has to go on the road, I think, changes things just a little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that Twinbee Joe Fresh wasn't a match for Sylvia Hanover, because if you look at how the
Lost
race
by 5.
formed, no, but look at how the race formed in the Fan Hanover. Sylvia Hanover got to make her move into a 28-1 quarter. Twinbee Joe Fresh came first over into a 26 and change third quarter around the final turn, having to cover more ground than Sylvia Hanover while having to advance. That takes a lot out of even a good horse. So Sylvia Hanover, while she did finish with relative ease, she still had the positional advantage that had the tables been turned, you might see Bob McClure go to the whip, tap, tap, tap. And if
Was she ever going to go by?
She still wins.
Was she ever going to go by?
Not off a trip like that is the point.
Not ever.
No, off a trip like that is different than saying that she was not of a class by any means. We don't know. We don't know how she's going to bounce back off.
We're going to find out.
That 150. And I think that's what makes this race interesting, too, because you touched on Strong Poison. I was going to say Twinbee Joe Fresh is the other factor to determine how heavy a favorite Sylvia Hanover is supposed to be in this race. 3-5, 2-5 seems like a fair territory, but that means then Strong Poison is what, like 4-1, 7-2? And at that point, you're running out of points of what are the rest of these horses going to be priced. And for that reason, that's why I think Cultured, not only underneath, for a couple bucks, why not better to win in case the race goes awry if she's somehow a big price?
What number?
That's what. If I got 20-1, I'd
30 at least.
Really?
30 probably.
Wow.
She was 63 against them in the Fan Hanover.
And the difference here from the Fan Hanover is she, for the first time, has an advantageous post draw against these horses. She has all the speed to be able to compete and maybe at least finish prominently, but she's certainly going to outrace her odds if she's going off 25, 30-1. I don't care if she gets second. I lose $5 on that. I think that's a terrific bet.
So, Derick, we'll go to you next, and in particular, in giving your choices, we'll ask if you have insight on 2 things. Strong Poison added Lasix in that start off of the bench out at Hoosier Park, and I thought really traveled really well throughout that whole mile. I remember watching that race from the Meadowlands, watching Hoosier that night to see that race. And also, Bellissima Hanover, do we have any insight? A lot of qualifiers we've seen for her before the comeback tonight.
I wouldn't bet Bellissima Hanover with your money, quite frankly. I mean, not because I think she's a bad horse, but because I can't imagine how she could possibly be ready to go the mile she's going to need to go to win this race. As far as Strong Poison, I think the pace setup certainly helped Strong Poison last time. I'm certain maybe the Lasix did as well, but the pace setup, helped her. Here's my problem with Sylvia Hanover. I think Sylvia, if you're telling me they're all at 100% and they're all going to be as good as they could possibly be, yes, I want Sylvia Hanover. But you're telling me I got to take, I think it's going to be 4-5, but 4-5, 3-5, whatever it's going to be on a horse that hasn't started in 4 weeks, that's shipping a long distance for the first time. There are questions to be answered, and you're being asked to do that by taking a short price. I would use her on my ticket, but I'm not in love with her. I am in the Cultured, corner. I thought Cultured had a shot in the Fan Hanover. Obviously, the post, did her in. She's finally in a position where she has a chance to show what she has. Is she as good as these other horses? I don't know. I think if we got 30-1, I'd be shocked. I think she's more in the 12 to 15-1 range.
Derick is a man of reason here on this panel. I don't know what I have to do to speak like that.
Thomas, what about your insights to this race?
25 years.
There is a couple of things there, like Mike said it first. Like I also marked with the first trip down to the Meadowlands. There is a couple of questions I have. She is not the best horse to go in front. If she goes in the front, when she have no air plugs, she have no cotton in the air. She is very lazy. We've seen her on Woodbine Mohawk. There, she has been going to the front, and then they pass her, and she comes back. I don't think if she's gonna go to the front and get past, I don't think it's gonna be like so easy for Bob McClure to do a Woodbine to do Meadowlands. I have a couple. She is the horse to beat, and I love the horse, but there is a couple of question marks I have there. We mentioned Strong Poison. That was the horse who got Lasix when she was not entered Lasix on Hoosier. There was like some, but they let her race with the Strong Poison, and she's still on Lasix, and the race she did over there was incredible. But Cultured maximum, she have a speed if she come from a helmet. The same with Twin B, Joe Fresh, and stuff like that. But for me, it is Sylvia Hanover. But it's more like, how is he going to drive the race, Bob? Because we know she can't go in front, in my opinion.
Yeah, for me, Strong Poison, I was just really impressed out there. Hoosier just really seemed to travel well to a mile. That, especially considering the shipping discussions we've already had, I'll take a chance with Strong Poison over Sylvia Hanover in the Mistletoe Shalee. So I'll go 11-5. Chalky top 2, but we'll try to at least put the second choice on top.
Well, that's a surprise from you, Mr. Hatter.
I know. We will go to race 9 next. And Derick, we will start with you. Grace Hill, morning line favorite, disappointed at 2-5 last time out. We'll look to turn the tables on Silver Label, and can't ever forget about Test of Faith, but Post God's not kind to her in the first 2 starts of the year.
Yeah, she hasn't been very lucky so far, but it's a long year. She'll have her opportunities. I'm all in on Max Contract in this race. I absolutely love Max Contract. Number of reasons. Getting a reasonable post this time. I thought that the race last time from Post 10, I thought maybe she was a little. She came home with 25 and change, but I didn't love her late in that mile, and now she adds Lasix, which maybe will help her. The better post position obviously will help her. I think that we don't know how good this horse is yet. I mean, we saw that she has that freaky speed as a 3-year-old. We really haven't had the opportunity to see what she can do as a 4-year-old yet. She hasn't really been in the right spots, in my opinion. She did win the Betsy Ross, though. I think that you're looking at a reasonable price on a horse that could very well be as fast as any other horse in this race. I mean, I respect Grace Hill. I respect what Silver Label did last time. Test of Faith, obviously really good horse. But I'm looking where I can find the value on a horse that might just be as good as them, and I think this is where I found it.
Yeah, I like Max Contract a good bit as well. And, so does Garnet Barnsdale. We chatted about it last night on the Woodbine Mohawk podcast. But I will take Grace Hill on top. Max Contract definitely in my numbers, though. Thomas, what about for you?
It's one of the hardest races to handicap. I agree a little with Derick there that Max Contract is, to me, like the value play. But it's like, I love the connection, Julian, like person-wise, but this year is like Andy is 9% to win, and Julie as a trainer, they as a trainer stable is 7% as a winner. So we need to have at least around 15-1 before I'm gonna go there. But she's gonna be on my ticket. It's a little question mark. It's a detention barn, so I have always question mark with detention barn. I always speak from my mind when it comes to the Silver Label from detention barn, but she was incredible good the last time. Grace Hill, I'm not sure if she was so sharp very, very early this year. We need to see our form go a little down, so maybe that's what happened last time. What more do we have there? There's like Test of Fate with that poster. She need to be a little pace for she come into the race. On my pick 4 ticket, I'm going to be with Silver Label because she was so good last time. She had the rail, 2 Grace Hill, 5 Max Contract, and 10 Test of Faith.
If I remember correctly, too, Grace Hill, there was a backstretch headwind that night, too, that she was breezing into, right? As when they went that slow third quarter, or am I just making that up?
No,
The winds were pretty good that day.
The weather wasn't that good?
The winds were pretty strong that day.
Okay, up the backstretch.
Ray, you always are astute on watching replays, and obviously the perfect sting, a lot of them come out of Treacherous Dragons line. What'd you make of that through the stretch late last time?
God, Ed, we've been talking to each other too long. You knew exactly what I was going to talk about. I used her on my ticket. I'm going to start by saying that, but I had the replay up, and I was going back up, play. I watched it maybe like 20, 30 times trying to figure out if when Dexter was angling out, if she really had a lot of momentum she was ready to gain, or if she was kind of leveling off already. And then that's one reason why she hooked wheel. I'm kind of on the camp that she would have gone forward somewhat. I don't think she was entirely a dud off that pocket ride. And with that said, when she hooked wheels, that certainly was the killer of her chances in that race. And at the same time, from what I remember correctly, too, Nancy Tactor said that she tied up in the Roses Are Red final, which for a horse on Lasix. Did someone say something?
It was you.
Oh, it was me? Oh.
We'll confirm that is correct, though. She said that to me in the interview in the back paddock, the Meadowlands, a couple weeks ago, and so did Dexter, so that is true.
Okay, yeah. And so the horse on Lasix, that's something to kind of keep in mind is, but I remember, too, that was also the Mohawk Gold Cup had that incident, and so they went past Lasix. That aside, if she's to go forward in the same way that she was progressing off that Roses Are Red elimination, she certainly stands a chance. I am kind of questionable of what kind of speed she has, though, because there are tons of mares in here that can fire sub 26 if need be. Silver Label proved herself to be one of them. Test of Faith has always been one of them. I was surprised Derick said the word love for Max Contract. I think she stands a chance. I may end up falling in love if you get a really nice price on her, because this is a race that I don't think is a slam dunk by any means. I use half the field in my pick for on this race alone, because they're depending on who leaves, who doesn't, who's positioned where. Any one of them can find what it needs to win the race. They all have the tools to do so. It's going to be kind of up to the stuff we can't predict in terms of if the horse is at 100% or trip-wise, how long they have to stay out, because we're talking like differences of inches trying to evaluate at the finish against ultimately a field that is of fairly similar ability in terms of benchmark time, just have different skill sets in how they can achieve that.
Mike?
Well, first I want to ask, what price do you think Max Contract will be? Because it seems like that this is a typical, this horse is 10-1 morning line, wise guy kind of horse. 6. Or you think, well?
I think higher.
I think at lowest 12.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with Ray. She's definitely going to be more in the morning line.
Okay. So, I mean, that kind of determines.
If Test of Faith would have drawn inside, I think Max Contract would have been higher. I think with Test of Faith drawing outside, you have Silver Label and Grace Hill getting the majority of the money, and Max Contract and Test of Faith somewhere even in the odds, in my opinion.
I think
whatever that third and fourth choices are.
Based on the way Test of Faith finished off last mile, they gave her 4-1 respect off the bench against those types. I think she takes significant money. Silver Label definitely takes more money than the last time out. Grace Hill takes a lot of money again, so I think that puts Max Contract. Well, I'm going to agree. I think the Meadowlands odds maker did a pretty good job here at like 10-1.
Okay. So in any case, I like Silver Label because I like the fact that they hit the road last time with her and she delivered in a huge way. I mean, you're never going to see 15-1 again on her, but she's very good. I thought she was excellent in that Roses Are Red, despite what happened, and she was ultimately beaten by Grace Hill. She proved herself that night also, I thought, to be very good and can go with these horses. So, yeah, the price is coming down, but I like Scott Zeron for her. I like that she's drawn better. I like that the confidence is there to move her against these horses. So I think she has a big chance. And no, she's 5-2 in the book. I think she has to be more than that, especially she's going to be higher than Grace Hill. She's going to be higher than Test of Faith. I do think Max Contract is going to take her fair share of money because a lot of us and a lot of people that are smart are going to look that way. So it's a spread race. I think it's a spread race for pick 4 purposes. I would use Treacherous Dragon because she's capable. I mean, she won 9 times last year, 700,000. No, it hasn't been her year so far, but off her best, she can win the race. Test of Faith can win the race. I think that Max Contract can probably win the race. I mean, she's proven, especially at this racetrack, and if she gets a setup, she can win. Getting Lasix too is going to move her up. So it's a difficult race. I'm going to use a bunch in here and just probably heavy, though, lean heavy on Silver Label in a lot of my tickets. That's going to be the horse that I'm going to press in this pick 4.
I think Racine Bell can win, too.
Might as well use her then.
Care about that? Okay.
I don't hate Racine Bell. I think she's got a shot given if she's forwardly placed. If she's going to try to come from off the pace, she's got no chance.
Well, she's not going to with that draw. She only came from off. If you watch the replay, Jason took back the moment everyone else barreled to the inside. But from that post, she has to go. She has to go, right? She has to go.
I think Greg Reinhardt made the point on Twitter how well she seems to raise at the Meadowlands. So it does draw better tonight, and you're still going to get a big price on it. But Robert, bring us home on race 9.
Sorry, I thought that Silver Label was incredible last time. I really do. I thought that the effort was beyond all expectations. However, she's been improving so much over the course of her 4-year-old campaign, and that's when this is the time of year, right, where you see them kind of turn the corner. Obviously, she has to get acclimated to racing as in her age career. And I was kind of surprised at how well she's taken to it. I thought she'd be one that might, get better much later in the season, and it's come a lot sooner than I thought. She has not had a bad effort yet this year. Even her 4th place finish out of the gate, that was one where, she had no chance the way the race panned out, and she's gotten better and better. I agree with Mike. The Rose of Red effort was dynamite, in my opinion. And again, trailing post last time, I couldn't play her only because of that. 14-1, I was kind of sick afterwards because, she was one that I was kind of zeroing in on to definitely get a bet down in on. So I agree that she won't go off as, the favorite in here. I think that, 5-2, 3-1, maybe 4-1 might be the highest you could get on her. But she's the one I like on top. Grace Hill's the other one I'm going to use. I won't go too deep in here. I think that this is a really good-looking race, but post is what kind of determines it. And Test of Faith, as much as it pains me not to have her on my ticket, I'm not going to use her from post 10. She should be better. She kind of got interfered with last time. I mean, she got interfered with, but it wasn't, I don't think, as bad enough to justify getting beat by that big of a margin. And Max Contract, I think, has to be a big price, only because of the fact what you said, Edison. There's so many horses that are going to take money in here, right? There's just so many directions for money to go. Some will land on her. I think, 12 to 15-1 is where I kind of have her at right now. And you're probably bang on with the morning line of 10-1. But Silver Label on top, just too deep for me in the pick 4. It's going to be Silver Label and Grace Hill.
Yeah, I think, when thinking about morning line stuff when it comes to these kind of races, a lot of attention towards Max Contract, but at the very least we can agree she's got to be at least the 4th choice buying Grace Hill, Silver Label, and Test of Faith. And at that point, with the money that's taken, we've already got to be looking somewhere close to 10-1 based on what those 3 are going to take. But we turn to race 10, Stanley Dancer Memorial, 20 3-year-old colt and gelding trotters entered. So 2 divisions, races 10 and 13. And this is, of course, a chance to see a little bit of a tune-up before the first Saturday in August. These are mostly all Hamiltonian eligible horses. And Thomas, we'll start with you. Air Power, 7-5 morning line favorite. Driver change to Dexter Dunn.
Yeah, and I think that's the plan with keeping Dexter to the Hambletonian with right now my Hambletonian favorite, Air Power. Yeah, last time I think there was many like bettors who was not happy when Matthias Melander just took him off the gate to get the trip behind Volume 8. So he is the horse to beat in this race, Air Power. I think he definitely have a good shot to win this race. I have a little information against Owell. I think the plan is with Owell is to race him going back to the close bridle. This year it's been open with race with open bridle, and they're going back to the close bridle is the plan for first time this year on Owell. Like if you see the horse like when they like up against each other, Owell is for me like the horse, like he have the body, he have everything that he is a monster when it comes to his skill set, but he's been 4 second places this year. He's not like for me right now that like the head to head against other horses. Last time he should won when he got beat by Celebrity Bambino. I'm gonna have 2 horses on my pick 4 ticket. I think Owell will be a little value. I think the bettor's going to go to the window with the Dexter Dunn on Marcus Melander's Air Power.
Thomas,
Ray.
I have a question. Wait, I have a question for Thomas when he's talking
Yes.
about the closed bridle. When he's going head to head, is that part of the theory to try and switch to a closed bridle? If maybe with the open bridle, when horses were coming up alongside him, he gets either too focused or what do you think is the theory on that equipment change?
I think the area is that is going to be more on the bit. He is a lazy horse, Owell, but Marcus have saved many things on it. I think he's going to wait with the no shoes to the Hambletonian too on Owell. It's more like to get him focused to go forward and stuff like that. That's at least the plan with the close bridle. We're gonna see the equipment changes on when it comes to the races, but that's the plan. I think you want to have him more focused, and I think Tim Teat, we're gonna put him in play from the post 7 with a close bridle. I think you're gonna put in front, and that's the one for the horses retake, and he's gonna be right there with he is definitely the value play, because for me, he is a better horse than Air Power, but Air Power right now is he want to do it there. Oh well, it's not like he's tired after the races.
Ray, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Air Power is also your Hamiltonian leader in the clubhouse right now.
Yeah, certainly that can change based off of, and that's something I think about when I was looking at these 3-year-old races a lot, because I remember on the scroll for the eliminations, I was thinking more so like the Meadowlands Pace, but you're seeing equipment changes galore on a bunch of these horses because it's getting towards not the midpoint of the Grand Circuit season, but these horses are getting enough starts where trainers might be willing to kind of tinker with how they have horses rigged if they don't think they're getting 100% out of them, and so I say that ultimately to keep in mind when you're looking at some of these lines. Like I admittedly dismiss OL. I know how good OL was as a 2-year-old, but when I see things like closed bridles and things like that, that's where I kind of bring more into play the potential that the horse seemed to have versus what they've been showing as of late, because these 3-year-olds, they can get better with every start, and it's multiplied by 2-year-olds. But in terms of what have you done lately, Air Power has been the force. I don't think he's been crushing world beaters. I do think beating a horse like Ari Ferrari J matters some. He just won the Zweig Memorial. He's proven himself to be a high gear trotting horse going into the first Saturday in August. But I haven't seen a horse this year that has such ease in hitting his top gear and such a way to sustain that top gear as Air Power has shown just in his last few starts. The only thing that beats him is if he's too far away, and that's what beat him last out when Matthias was driving him against Winner's Bet. Winner's Bet was just in the much better spot. So Air Power is one of those good horses where he can get himself out of a sticky situation, but you got to also be mindful not to make it too sticky of a situation you put him in, because only good horses can still lose.
I'll go to Robert next, because I'm sure he's going to give us some good Canadian love for Breeders' Crown champion Gaines Hanover.
I will. I'll give you some love for Gaines Hanover, but I think that this was my second or third most probable winner of the card. No, another chalk. Air Power. I don't think they beat him. Honestly, I don't think that there's any way they beat him in this spot. Last time I thought raced unbelievably well, and Ray just said everything about him that I think I would say, obviously, my choice right now for the Hambo as well. But Gaines Hanover, I mean, you can throw out his latest effort. I mean, he had absolutely no chance the way the race kind of panned out. One of those spots where I played against him at 3-5, because we know there's bigger races coming up on the calendar. And before that, gritty effort to get beat by a nose to Southwind Coors. Obviously, the Breeders' Crown champion last year. He's really done nothing wrong. Another horse that hasn't really raced poorly at any start of his life. And I think obviously now when the chips are down, we're going to see the best version of him show up. So I think that, Gaines Hanover is, I would say in for a chance underneath somewhere, because I don't think anyone beats Air Power, but Gaines Hanover is a horse that, again, you can ignore his latest result, ignore his first start off the bench, much the best in both those efforts. And when the chips are down, he comes to play.
Yeah, I like to gain Hanover underneath, but Air Power also probably, ignoring Jiggy Jog, probably my most likely winner on the card. I'll take Air Power over Gaines Hanover. Derick, what about for you?
Yeah, I think Air Power and OL are the two most logical winners here. I mean, I actually looked at OL and thought maybe they would make a little bit of a change. So I'm glad to see that they're going to go with the closed bridle, as Thomas said here. Maybe that'll help him out a little, because he really hasn't wanted to pass anyone so far this year. Air Power is very logical. But we also have to keep in mind, yes, they're going for $138,000 here, right? But this isn't the goal for any of these horses. None of them could care less if they were. They'd sign right now to win the Hambo and finish last in the Stanley Dancer. So, I mean, it's worth keeping that in mind, that the real goal is going to happen in a couple of weeks. And that's when you're going to see any, as Thomas said, major changes where no shoes and stuff like that, might be a time to tinker with some things here. You try something to see if it works, and then, you can decide what you want to do for the elimination. But I think Air Power and OL, those are the two best horses.
Derick, real quick, from you, as you always have good insight for us on random things. Volume 8, any insight on him scratching here?
Yeah, I mean, basically he bled really badly. He was going to come in with Lasix for this start because of the bleeding, and Then what I read from one of my writers, Jay Bergman, spoke to Noel Daly's, that they thought maybe he had a puss pocket or something. They brought him out on the track on Tuesday. He came back. He was limping a little bit. He didn't like what he saw, and he said if he didn't look better Wednesday or Thursday, he was going to scratch him, and he scratched. I mean, just by the fact that he's going on Lasix and reading between the lines, I don't think you see him in the Hamiltonian. I think you see him down the road.
Yeah, you got to be careful of those pus pockets. They sneak up on you.
Mike, your insight on this race?
Well, I think that the thing about this race, there's 9 horses in the race, but really there's only 3 horses in the race because the main 3 are far and above, classier and faster than the other 6. And how those main 3 navigate the race is going to determine who wins between the 3 of them. The thing about it is Air Power has the best kick of all of them, and it's not close. It's just a matter of can he get free? You got Dexter done now. I think that he's going to give him a nice test drive here. He looks very, very difficult to beat, to hold off. I would expect that you're going to see his best in this race. I know that the main goal is down the road, but they're putting Dexter on now. They want to see what's going on here. He's going to be most likely the main favorite for the Hambo, but all systems go as far as I'm concerned, and I would key in pick 4s. If you're interested in the other ones, fine, use. But I think you need separation in a race like this, and I would just live and die with him. And especially if you're spreading in the race before, you can't go 3 deep in these kind of races. You just can't do it. That's just I just think a bad way to go. So if you like single If you like Air Power, what I like, go with that. This is a kind of race to take a stand because most of the long shots have absolutely no chance to win. And I hate to say that, but it's just the way it is. I mean, you have a huge separation between the main contenders and the horses that are, really shouldn't have any chance to win the race. So I'll live and die with Air Power. I think his kick is something that could be special.
Just to throw something out there before we move on, because I know you're going to go to the next race. Air Power, you got to assume the Air Power is going to brush to the lead early in the race. At least that's what I would assume here. We've never really seen him on the lead. I mean, any thoughts on how he will race being on the lead versus coming from off the pace?
I didn't think he was going to the lead. Why would he go to the lead now?
But why can't he be driven like the best horse, like Derick said? Why can't that happen? They got to see.
If he is, how does he race on the lead? Let's say he quarter moves to the lead or brushes just after the quarter. Does he, maybe get lonely on the lead? Does he not race the same way from on the lead as he has been off the pace? I don't know, because I don't see any lines showing me that he does.
Well, you're asking that question. You're asking that question too, isolated from the fact that is switching to the closed bridle. So I don't think you can say Air Power is going to be a definitive leader, because I don't see coming from far off the pace. I don't see them swapping tactics in this race.
The thing is though his kick is better than anyone else's from wherever it is on the track. Now, whether he produces it from the front or not, but his kick, I think, is far and away the best.
We have a player in this race there. We never know what the green driver does either with the Kierkegaard K. Like Aki gonna be, he's gonna definitely be up there trying to do something. But on Yonkers last time in the final, Yonkers thought he was very sore. Was lame when he come out in the post parade and made a break in the first turn. So, I don't think Timmy wants to be in front with because he haven't been fighting so good either. So I think Derick is maybe on the right path there. That there is so big difference with the horses that like Country Dagger and Father Stosh and What an Angel. They are just entered to the race. So it's going to be very easy for Dexter to maybe do a brush after the first quarter and go to the half in a cheap 56. If not, Aki have the push button.
Well, race 11, we've come to the main event, the $668,000 Meadowlands Pace final, the 3-year-old colt and gelding pacers with all the eliminations last week. And let's see, news and notes I will share before we get to handicapping it. So Dexter Dunn was listed as a choice of Fulton or Christchurch. He has landed on Fulton. However, as shared by Nancy Tactor on the Meadowlands show earlier today, the Meadowlands Pace review and preview. She says that it is Diamond Creek's choice, Adam Bowden's choice of how Dexter ends up on Fulton. So do with that info as you will. Scott Zeron listed on a choice of 2. He has stuck with El Rey. And we will get a second-time Lasix here for El Rey off of that elimination last week. And it is Confederate, the 6-5 morning line favorite, a perfect post-5 draw. And Thomas, with your lovely Meadowlands Pace background, we'll go to you first.
Yeah, I can do that. Like Dexter, yeah, okay. I heard what you said about that was Diamond Creek choice. I have some other information, but I was not shocked that Scott did go with El Rey. He's been driving El Rey all the time. I was not shocked that Dexter was going to go with Fulton. Like on El Rey, Dexter was going to go with El Rey before the Pepsi North America with the North American Cup with Lindas Toscano's horse there with El Rey. So he really liked that horse and the connection and stuff like that. This is for me one of the better races, and try to handicap this race. For me, Confederate is the horse. But I don't like how he sometimes, if he is the fastest horse in this field, if he just gonna have a helmet. But I didn't like when Timmy shut him down just before the finish line, like maybe 116 before the finish line last time. He almost went over to walk, and I seen it done that little before that when he cleared front, then he wait for the other. So that's the question mark I have with Confederate. On a speed from a good trip, he gonna win Meadowlands Pace. For me, Vukafalas, I love that Lazarus colt there. It's been little hard for him up in Canada when he jumped in the elimination there. He got a little rough trip in the final last time. He got a rough trip again. So he need definitely to have a little trip, I hope, for Vukafalas, but he is definitely a player in this race. One horse I think there is very much value to bet this time. It's Fulton. From the rail, Dexter can just protect the rail, get a position. He's gonna try to find a cover from one of the favorites to follow him. If it open up and it's gonna be a little overpaced, I think Fulton is the value play here. El Rey, I've been waiting for him. El Rey, I really love him, but he's been disappointed this year. But the last 2 races is a step up for him, and we know with the money man Scott Zeron, if it is gonna be overpaced. We don't is Joe Bongiorno in this race? So maybe he's not in this race. We don't gonna get a 52.5 like we did the last time. So I don't see Christchurch win Meadowlands Pace. I don't see Cannibal win Meadowlands Pace. So I think for me it's gonna be Confederate. My rank is Confederate, Fulton, Vukafalas, El Rey.
Robert Reid Jr., the author of the Woodbine Mohawk Horse Players Journal. So last time these Glamour boys got together was up at your place, North America Cup. How do you see the second big dance going?
Well, I thought it was a 2-horse race on that occasion. They finished 1-2. Wrong order for me. I needed Confederate, more so anyways. It was okay result. It's my show. I think Confederate's the best in here. I really do. I think that, he didn't get there on NA Cup night, but man, I would have liked to see him a little bit closer, not with so much work to do. Obviously, his best move is off a helmet elimination for the NA Cup. I was right by the rail watching him, and I know some people said they weren't impressed with him in that race, but that's not even his game, right, on the engine, and he looked like a freight train to me. I don't think they beat him in here. I don't, but again, here I go again, just more chalk, right? Confederate's going to get bet off the board. I think he claims the Meadowlands Pace. Obviously doesn't face It's My Show this time. The horse that I've always liked El Rey, so he's the horse that I'll be using underneath the most, I would think. And Vukafalas, I kind of knocked him going into the NA Cup final. You watch that replay a bunch of times, and you see that he really did get a brutal trip. No chance the way it kind of panned out. And then last time, I thought it was a good performance, even though he got beat in the end by Cannibal. So maybe redemption for him, disappointing at 4-5 in the elimination. But for me, underneath player, Confederate is going to be my single to pick for as well. I don't think they beat him. I think that obviously he's going to be closer this time. I think he's going to, try to do his thing off a helmet, and no one in this field can out sprint him. I do agree that, like when he kind of gets shut down, he slows up pretty quick, which is a bit of a concern, but I don't think that's going to happen this time around. I think he's just going to pace strong to the wire, and he gets the job done.
So, Mike, two-part question. First of all, Cannibal's elimination winner, did he just get the perfect trip, or did he kind of prove he can go with these horses, in your opinion? And two, ignoring your opinion, does the public come from in this final off an elimination winner, or is he kind of like Hullabaloo winning in a limb last year at 80-1?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about 80-1. I don't think the public comes for him as much as some of the others, because there's just too many big names in the race that people kind of attach themselves to. And he's a new player, and yeah, he did get a perfect trip, but he hasn't lost this year, and you have to respect things like that. Horses that just win all the time and find ways to get it done. He's obviously much better at 3, and they put him in this spot thinking that he could go, and he proved them right. I mean, this is top connections. Now, you lose the driver, and that makes a difference. But he'll be mid-priced. I think probably under 10, but he's maybe 4th, 5th choice in the race. I think that him and Christchurch will probably be very similar odds. They have similar connections. They have similar sort of, lines and things. They're going to battle each other, I think, for who, is right around that 4th choice in the race. I like El Rey in the race. I think that, Robert said.
Alrighty, we have
He's
Mike
not moving.
technical difficulties. Well, Ray, it's your namesake.
Mike wasn't meant to say what he was trying to say. I think.
Ray,
Big
tell us why
Tech
Mike
is
likes
trying
El
to-
Rey. Your namesake. Come on, you got to give us something.
He likes him for the same freaking reason everyone else likes him. Like, this is the most interesting Meadowlands Pace to me because it seems obvious, right? Like, I recall other editions where you going into the race, it was clear there was 1 or 2 horses that were hands down the best. But this edition, you have a horse that is by far better than a bunch of them. But I love how Timmy said after the elimination in the Meadowlands Pace that he's just one good drive away from everyone being happy. His best work comes from having to be off the speed, but no matter what, he's going to be a victim to whatever that means, wherever he gets away. So because of that, you have the best horse who continuously is going to be thrown, as we saw it too. In the Breeders' Crown, even in the North American Cup, he's going to continuously be thrown into these situations where there might be horses in front of him, walls he has to overcome, and he's faster than all of them. But at the end of the day, you never know if he's going to get the right kind of trip. And I know Timmy was frustrated with the trip, how the trip went in the North American Cup. That's what's great with that one camera they have right past the finish. You could see the emotion right after the finish between Scott and Tim. Just one of those great kind of happenstance cinematic moments in racing. But
yeah.
that
I have a good story there, Ray. That's like when Scott Saron come out of the locker room after he said to Daniel Duby, "I owe you a dinner."
Yeah, I'm sure Timmy was pretty mad to follow. I don't remember the name of the horse. But and certainly this is interesting too, because I don't think there are anchors like that in this race. So to a degree, that might play into Confederates' favor. At the same time, the way this race sets up, I see it being potentially nuclear again. I understand, Thomas, that you're a big fan of Fulton. The way every time I look at this, I feel like Fulton's first over. Is he not? And how this race shapes? I feel like he's got to be the guy that goes first up.
But how many times have you seen Dexter Dunn in a big race go first up?
That's also a great question.
It's no Joe Bongiorno.
That's certainly true. And that could mean maybe it's a bit more methodical versus a gung-ho, which wherever he is, hope he's doing well. This is a race where I think I overcomplexify it a bit. My takeaways from the eliminations, Cannibal, you'd have to give me 50-1 for one to think that would even be a good bet. I feel like Fulton is not going to get his kind of trip. Vukafalis, I don't know what's up with him. It seems like he gets hoppy every now and again, and that's not really that good. I think Christchurch will be an okay price. El Rey, he's fast. Like, come on, he's doing the same thing he did in the Governor's Cup. Everyone's going to see the 25-second final quarter. Everyone's going to go bet it. He's going to be an underlay. And if he wins, you'll cash a ticket, but go, man, that's really all I got. I'm ultimately curious what Ammo does in this race. Because from that outside post, when he wanted to leave in the North America Cup, he ended up having to take back because of what everyone else did. But he's fast enough in this race where who else is leaving to the inside? Christchurch maybe leaves to the inside. I don't know who else. It feels like Ammo's going to have to go be a part of what catalyzes the early pace. And that could also be what sets it up for either Confederate to win or maybe one of these other ones like El Rey. I'm of a camp that I think Hungry Angel Boy could win the race somehow, some way. If Holborn Hanover can win the Meadowlands Pace, I think Hungry Angel Boy might have a chance too. It broke my brain. I spent an hour and a half looking at this, trying to make odds and ends of it. And I know that everyone else here on the panel will be able to have a much more confident opinion than me in 1 minute discussion.
Well, there's the race.
That was at least 5 minutes. I had to go off and then come back.
All right, technology problem solved. Mike, pick back up where we were. You like El Rey because...
Okay, I wasn't sure if what you got or what you heard of what I said, but no, I do like El Rey because Robert said he didn't think anyone could outfinish Confederate, but I do think that El Rey has the speed to outfinish Confederate. And if you look at after he loves this racetrack, okay, how good he was last year on this racetrack, how good he's been since he's gotten back to this racetrack, and I think that matters. You get Lasix last time, he kicks 26-3. Yeah, he lost to Confederate in there, but Your second Lasix now. You got Scott Zeron, who, of course, I like him in all these big races. He just seems to make the right moves all the time. He could end up second over in this race, which is where he wants to be. I think his kick plays very well in this kind of race, and he has a chance to outfinish Confederate now. And you're going to get probably 4 or 5 times the price. Now, will he be an underlay? I think he's at least 5. He's got to be at least 5 in the race.
I would need 6-1 or more to think about it.
Well, I mean, you're going to get right around there because Vukofalis is going to take his money. Dexter's going to take his money. Cannibal's going to take some money. Edison seems to think Confederate's going to be 2-5 in the race somehow. So, I mean, the prices on everything else have to be huge.
6-5. Morning lines is 6-5. I'm just saying, talking to everyone else, it seems like a 3-5, 2-5 is the consensus.
If he's 3-5, then doesn't El Rey have to be at least 6-1?
Assuming Vukofalis is the second choice, the clear second choice, I think he's going to be. But you know what? Nobody here seems to like him, nor does anybody else in the universe. So at this point, Vukofalis may as well be 99-1.
I tried to tell you this.
I think that it's the spread race though for pick 4s and things because there's no real definitive, I think, horse in the race. I think a couple can win. Vukofalis can win. I think Christchurch can win with the right trip. I think El Rey can win, and of course the favorite can win. So, but I would lean heavy on El Rey. That's who I would press.
If El Rey's the third choice, Mike, I think you're going to get the price you want. If he ends up being the second choice, maybe not so much. Derick, your thoughts?
I've been sitting here so long listening to what everyone has to say, so I have so many things on my mind. First, I'll say that I ran a poll on DRF Harness, on who do you like to win the pace, and Confederate got 40% of the vote. So maybe that keys you into.
I voted El Rey.
Vukofalis and El Rey are almost even right now, 18% and 17%. So those two look pretty even there.
What's Hungry Angel Boy at?
Well, you can only have 4 picks. The other one's Other, and Other got 24%. Okay, so a lot to say. First, I'll start with El Rey. I don't like El Rey at all. Not even
why?
The smallest bit. Because El Rey's going to have to pass too many other horses that are just as fast, if not faster than him. And I just don't see it happening. He's going to be too low. Yeah, if you're going to give me 15-1 on El Rey, I'd take a shot. But at 5-1 or 6-1, which is what you're going to get, to me, I'd much rather bet Hungry Angel Boy than El Rey any day of the week. Because I know I'm going to get 25-1 on Hungry Angel Boy. I know he's going to be forwardly placed. I think he's going towards the front here. And not that I'm saying I like that horse, but I'd much rather bet Hungry Angel Boy than El Rey, than Cannibal. Maybe even then Fulton, though I give Fulton a chance, but the problem I see with Fulton is, one, that he might be first over, and if he's not first over, I think he's sitting in the 3-hole, which isn't the best spot in a big stakes race where maybe the Meadowlands passing lane doesn't, show up, like it does so often. So I'm going to be on the 2 horses that everyone else doesn't like. I like Christchurch in this spot. I think he's going to the front. I think he's got a reasonable chance to control the pace. And if they let him get, a semi-reasonable pace, 53-4 or something like that, he could definitely go wire to wire. If you look at the history of this race is one on the lead. Last 15 editions, 7 winners were one on the lead. The last horse to win from further back than fourth was 2007. It was Southwind Links. It's not really set up as a closer's race. You got to be in the top 3 or 4 really to win, and preferably on the lead. The other horse I like in the field is Bucephalus. I mean, I liked Bucephalus before I even talked to trainer Mike Russo, a couple of times this week, and he was telling me how the horse, had some steering issues in the race, and he saw a chiropractor and had a little kink in his neck, and he thinks he's better now. But, he's 99% sure. It didn't really matter to me because I listen to what the trainers say, but I don't let that affect my handicapping too much because all trainers are very positive. But the way I look at this is, I'm pretty sure I know how fast a lot of these horses are. I'm not sure I know how fast Bucephalus is yet. I don't think we've really had the opportunity to see him at his best in the right spot. And I'm hoping that Fulton is first over, because I think if Fulton's first over, Bucephalus is following him. And if you're telling me Bucephalus is following Fulton and Confederate's on his back, I'll take my chances with Bucephalus at 4-1 versus Confederate. To me, you can't bet Confederate. 100% he's the horse to beat. 100% he's probably the fastest horse in the race. No way you could bet that horse at whatever he's going to be, 4-5. You just can't bet him at he almost pulled himself up last week. Or you could believe that Timmy had him shut down and he had tons left and he didn't pull the earplug. You could believe it either way, but there's still the question mark there. You don't know. I feel like you got to time the move right with him from what I've seen, and I have too many questions to take 4-5 on him. I respect him. I think he's the fastest horse. I think he can win the race. I would never bet Confederate in a million years.
Alrighty, I will go with Christchurch. I think I've been on the Christchurch bandwagon every start of this entire year, including North America Cup. He got torched to a 52.5 last week. Still raced really well to be third, so I will be beyond sick to the stomach if I go off of Christchurch now, and he should win at some race. In fact, as I adamantly told Ray Cotolo, screaming on the phone earlier this week, I have been more loyal to Christchurch than even Dexter Dunn has been, or anybody else at this point this entire year. So I got to stick there, but Confederate surely is a good one. Definitely, as you mentioned, Derick, the one to knock off, but the price is probably going to be pretty unattractive. I still don't hate Cannibal. I still thought he raced really well last week. I thought he finally proved he can belong against these types. I mean, he should have been about 3 or 4-1 in the race. You got 9-1. If we're going massive price again, we'll take Cannibal in there.
The winner of this race has to go sub 26. They
3-5, 3-5-4-2 for me in the Meadowlands Pace, as we are running a little long on time, so we will speed up here. But acknowledging comments real quick. Kevin Plouch is tuning in as always, wishes Ray a happy birthday, and we'll hear from Kevin Plouch in a couple shows coming up the next couple of weeks as we go to Adios at the Meadows. Murray says Jiggy Jog and Sylvia are his 2 most likely winners on the card, and we'll squeeze this in really quick time-wise. Trish is new to harness, tuning in tonight, and what's the best tip you give to a newbie handicapping harness? We'll go very quickly around. What I will say is, especially on a card like this, handicap the races, try to predict a little bit who you think might win, how the race will go, but most importantly, look back at it afterwards and figure out where you went right, where you went wrong, and even I still do that to this day, and that's where you improve. Ray?
I love how you say handicap the races to someone who's never watched harness, as if that means anything. What I'll say,
who looks the best,
What I'll say, if you're familiar with thoroughbreds, trip is paramount. It manifests differently in harness races versus thoroughbred races, of course, but keep it really be in mind of what horses look like they show speed, what horses look like they want to be on the front. Try and get familiar with the lines you see of what each horse has to offer, because most horses can be driven pretty much any way. And so the more you can try and figure out how races set up, you're going to be better off in the long run. And that joined with also reading the tote board, because you always want to try and bet the best price you can.
Robert?
I mean, it's tougher on a day like Meadowlands Pace, right? Because you've got, top drivers, top trainers everywhere. But I always say it for a newbie, focus on connections first. Look at connections first and bet the strong connections and learn from there. You can't go wrong betting top barns and top drivers.
Derick?
As Robert said, the most important person is the trainer. I mean, if the trainer has big stats, the horse is probably going to perform well. But the best advice I can give to anyone is pick one track. Pick one track, watch all the races from that one track, learn that one track, because if you learn that one track, you'll be an expert at that rather than know a little bit about what happens here and there, and then some of the information doesn't carry over.
Yeah, that's how you become like me, right, Ray? Then you know things about like New Zealand harness horses and like Argentinian thoroughbreds and a little bit of everything. Mike?
I was going to say that was the equivalent of Oak Grove, yeah.
For harness, I think that the class really, really matters a lot. And they write very consistent classes in harness racing. And if you can get a feel for that, you're going to, I think, be able to discern what horses belong in which spots. And yes, Ray, trip matters a lot. But in harness especially, you get a lot of horses dropping out of different class levels and things like that. So class, I think, means a lot in harness racing, and the quicker you can discern who belongs where, the better off you will be.
All right, Mike and Derick didn't say it, so I'll throw it in too. Also, worthwhile to tune in to other experts and try to get their opinions and kind of read what they're saying and why they're saying it. Derick's the other DRF Harness. DRF Harness, of course, has a lot of selections and picks and analysis on their website, and likewise Mike, part of Nahu Picks. Nahu Picks website, also a lot of good information, picks, analysis of the races there. So it's always good to listen to those that might know a little bit more than you as you're starting to get into it. Thomas?
Yeah, it's many of the good points there from the other guys. I still do it when I handicap the Meadowlands races every Friday. I use Derick's rank. I use Gabe's rank, Edison's rank, and North America Harness Racing Picks rank, and just to see there. Follow the big trainers. Look at what the bettors have bet on the horses the last couple of races, and like Mike said, the classes. That's like the main keys.
Alrighty, we're going to speed through the last two races, give you some pick four tickets. Race 12, the William Haughton Memorial, $444,000 on the line. And, Derick, this is some kind of race lined up here. 11 horses on the gate. 10 on the gate, I guess, one trailer. Buckabat Hanover, Ruthless Hanover, they're going to square off again. By the Missiles, a wild card in here. Allywag Hanover, trying to recover off of the accident, two back in that Gold Cup. Tattoo Artist, a tough one from post 10, draws better tonight. I mean, there are so many different directions you could go in this race.
Yeah, even though Ruthless Hanover, won pretty nicely last time, I think a Buckabat Hanover could legitimately be the favorite in this race. I mean, I'm not picking him on top. I'm going to take a chance with Allywag Hanover here, just because we really haven't seen him in a position where he's had a chance to win yet. And you're going to get a really nice price on him, I think, here. And, he's a 46 pacer, given the right trip. He's never been a horse that could do it all himself. But given the right trip, and he should get it here with a horse like Ruthless Hanover setting, potentially a quick pace. I think this is the perfect spot to take a shot with Allywag Hanover. I just wanted to throw in there that By the Missile, well, I don't think he's going to win this race because I don't think he's quite ready, despite the 24 and change final quarter. By the Missile's a horse. I'm excited to see what he can do down the road, and I can't wait to watch him race next time.
Mike.
Well, homer pick for me for sure, but I like Charlie Mason in the race. We know he likes this racetrack, right? A couple years ago, he did win this race. We know how that ended up, but last year came off the bench and crushed here, 47-1 in a spot that from a tough spot and really with ease. This horse has had trips all year long. That Battle Lake Erie was parked every step. Last week in an open at Scioto was parked every step. And I talked to Don. He said that the horse has had a slight foot issue. We know he likes the track. He's going to be a huge price. No one's really going to look at him in this race, and he might not be ready. But if you look at this horse's history, especially at this racetrack, he's capable of beating this kind of field, especially with a setup. And I could see a setup here where you got Ruthless Hanover, you got a Buckabat that maybe didn't move early enough last time. He could be involved early. What if Allywag decides to go forward off the gate? Tattoo Artist is probably the fastest horse off the gate that there is. By the Missile likes to be up front. Ton of speed in the race. You know that he can fly late off a trip. He's going to get ignored. Yes, I like the connections, but I do like the horse, and I think he has a legitimate chance at the big odds.
Disclaimer, Mike is good friends with owner Don Tiger of Charlie May, so a little bit of maybe bias in there, but Don's a good guy, and he's done some great things with us in the money here, a couple of podcasts with Mike, and, even after the fact, the handicapping parts aren't relevant of races that have already happened, but some good stories and good information from Don as always, so we'll wish him the best of luck Saturday night. Thomas.
It's very interesting betting race. It's like I'm gonna follow little Derick there with a little long shot on Alleywag Hanover. Like last time, we did know the bet. I was a little sad for the bettors because if they had got little information from either Brett Pelling or Todd McCarty that there was just a prep race for the William Houghton from Post and in the no winners of 20,000, that I don't think it will be bet like it was bet. So this time I think he's gonna be put in position. If we just gonna get a decent trip, we know what he can do. A bucket bet Hanover. He got a little interfered with the accident there last time, but he finished super good and was a little too far away from Ruthless Hanover. It's like for me, Alleywag Hanover, bucket bet Hanover, by the missile. I love that horse, but it's maybe a little too early for him with just the qualifier there, a little on the layoff. But we know what he can do. Ruthless Hanover, I think this time he will be over that. So for me, there is not so much value on him. He can win, but for me, to the window, especially if in pick 4, it's not going to be one of the key horses for me. I'm going to stick with a bucket bet Hanover, Alleywag Hanover, and by the miss.
I like to live in a universe where Alleywag was going to be like even money last week until I interviewed Brett Pelling in the back paddock on the simulcast signal and maybe pushed him to 8-5 when he kind of gave that indication. Obviously, they're pointing towards this race, but nonetheless, maybe not the greatest 8-5 bet of all time. But Robert, how do you see this one?
I'm kind of a combination of everyone's selections so far. I'm on a bucket bet Hanover because I thought that race in defeat last time was one of the best race you'll see for finishing second. Couldn't get to Ruthless Hanover, 70 cents to the dollar that occasion. I think you're going to get a bigger price, obviously, this time out. And I thought was obviously very impressive at Mohawk Park, despite there was also a spill, in that race. So I just thought that this looks like a great spot for him to rebound, good post to work from. And, maybe we get a decent price because there's a few spots that money can go in here. I'm intrigued to see what By the Missile does. I'm looking forward to seeing his return like everyone else. 24-4 is a ridiculous final quarter, but I don't think he's going to be ready for what he's going to have to do in here to get the W. And I'm okay with Mike taking a shot on Charlie May. Biased or not, I mean, this looks like a spot where you can certainly use him on the ticket at a price. He's going to get overlooked, and it'll probably go off at a much bigger number than he should be, so I'll be using him somewhere. And Alleywag, I mean, you've got to expect him to be, better this time out, and that's really what you want to see for horse. For betting him this time, what happened last time is kind of ideal, right? I feel bad for the poor people that got behind him though at 8-5 off that effort, but that's the way that I kind of see it. But I do give a heavy lean in the direction of a bucket bet Hanover.
Yeah, this was a tough morning line. I kind of flipped back and forth, Ruthless, a bucket bet, but I think they come back for bucket bet as the favorite, but it's definitely not, I don't think, 70 cents on the dollar again. But I personally will go back to a bucket bet on top in this race. Alleywag Hanover, though, I did throw in as well. Ruthless Hanover, I'll toss in. And the price, I did it my way. I'll throw in the big number maybe to try to break up some of those favorites. By the Missile, I'm not sure. I think it's a classic horse to watch the tote board and see how it shakes out as we get closer to post time. But Ray, wrap this race up for us.
What price do we get on By the Missile, out of curiosity? Anyone?
Third choice, 4-1.
10? You give me 10-1 on By the Missile?
Yeah,
I doubt it.
No, they got him at 24-4 last
year.
If Ruthless Hanover and a bucket bet Hanover are going to be 7-5 and 2-1, doesn't that mean everyone else has to be much higher than 6?
How about a different question, Derick? Is By the Missile the third choice?
I don't know. It's close between him and Alleywag. It's close.
I think he's the third choice at like 4-ish, 5-ish. I think a bucket bet's like 8-5, 7-5 this time. Ruthless is like 5-2, 2-1, and then I think it puts By the Missile like 7-2, 4-1.
Ray's head's going to explode. You got to let him talk.
I don't care about those semantics. Give me 10-1 on By the Missile. 6-1 is fine. Because here's the wild thing. This guy paced his back 3 quarters in 119-4 off the bench. It's amazing that stat alone could still read as not ready. You add on a 28-second quarter to that, that's a 147 mile. He could easily do that off the bench. If you're giving me 10-1, I'm fine with that price if he doesn't win.
You're going to get a fair price, and if at a fair price, you know, I could see betting. I go with usually the 2-second rule when it comes to qualifiers with older horses. I feel like they can usually improve about 2 seconds off that qualifier. And if he goes 47 and change, I don't know that's going to be enough.
It's a big pot. He's going to be ready to go. I think he's ready to go.
One piece I will add to this in terms of big long shots, Nandolo over this track in the cold of winter, granted it was sunny, I was able to go 48 and change. So what does he do here? I don't know, but he's going to be like, what, 99-1? That might be worth $2.
I'm concerned that that's exactly what the program comment in my Meadowlands race reviews say. So, Ray,
I'm glad you watch the races as one of their employees.
Yeah, we should caveat with, I've been answering what price is this going to be, what price is this going to be. I've been answering with the morning line. I make the morning line at the Meadowlands if that's already established. So I'm a little biased that, we're going with what's written. But real quickly, race 13, we'll give out pick 4 tickets and we'll get everybody out of here. Race 13, the other division, the Stanley Dancer Memorial Trot. Mike, maybe in a little bit of the weaker division without air power in it per se, and but still a good race, and obviously a lot of horses we hope to see in a couple weeks in the Hamiltonian.
Yeah, I like Excalibur, but that horse I think has improved at 3. I really liked that line last time, and should get a similar trip. That 52-2, I think that this horse can improve off of that second back. It has to beat Celebrity Bambino, probably has to beat Killmeister. But I like the inside post. I like the idea that this horse can improve, and I think that you're going to get a middle price. I think he's pretty solid in there.
Robert?
Yeah, weaker division, but I think it's a pretty competitive race, right? Top to bottom. I've always liked Killmeister. Think he might be some value from post 8. The horse I'm intrigued by is the 5, once in a lifetime. 4 for 5 on the season, and I watched those replays. Was impressed with every single one of his starts. Might be a little tough for him, but that's the horse I'm going to land on top.
Thomas?
Yeah, it's I'm going to go back to the window on 4 tactical approach this time. I think you're going to get a little value on this time. He was slam dunk in the winning pool last time, and he lost for Owell and Celebrity Bambino. Maybe Scotty was driving a little too slow the third quarter, 28-3. I think he is more like a strong horse than he is like a quick speed horse. Excalibur B, I seen the qualifier on Chesterfield and Meadowlands, and he won last time against little cheaper class when was Point of Perfect and Challenger. Celebrity Bambino qualified super good on Meadowlands, and he got a nice trip last time. But that was the first race where he like really stepped up and got to be a Hambletonian contender. I see Killmeister and Crown and Dire Straits every day. Like Killmeister, I was very disappointed by his race in Vernon Downs. I think Marcus said that he was little like question mark if that was little that he had a couple of weeks too off that was not helping him. But I've been so on Killmeister. He haven't impressed me this year. Winner's bet. Yeah, I lost money on him last time. I'm going to lose money if he wins. I'm not high on that horse. So I stick with tactical approach to Excalibur B and Celebrity.
Yeah, I'll take tactical approach back on top as well to rebound from the most recent effort. But with the 5 once in a lifetime, that's one Garnett and I talked a little bit about last night. It's maybe the cannibal route. I mean, maybe there's the class question here, but obviously, given those lines that we see, kind of got to look through the form of who he's beaten, and the answer might not be a lot, but I'll give him a chance to step up here at a legitimate price. So I'll take 4 over 5, Excalibur B for 3rd, and Celebrity Bambino 4th. Right?
The exact words I wrote in the DRF picks is that Celebrity Bambino is back. That's all you need to know. He's back. He's back.
Wow, that was a 12-word answer from Ray Cotolo.
That
back. Must be his best bet of the night. His best Celebrity Bambino.
Must be time to wrap it up then.
Derick?
I really like Celebrity Bambino. I feel like he looked like a completely different horse last time, and if that same horse shows up again this week, he should be pretty tough to beat. I do like tactical approach a little as well in there. Excalibur B. I don't know what that horse is yet. I know the horse that he beat last time isn't much. That's what I know.
Well, another race, Derick, where I flip-flopped the morning line favoritism a couple times. So Celebrity Bambino the favorite. Do we go that far off of that most recent line?
I think it's going to be close between him and tactical approach. It's could be a coin toss.
Yeah, they're the two I flip back and forth. We landed with tactical approach, 3-1 morning line favorite, Celebrity and BNO 7-2. Second choice as we last bit of business, races 8 through 11. That middle pick 4. Again, there are 3 pick 4s on the card on Saturday. Races 4 to 7, races 8 to 11, races 11 to 14. We have tickets for the late pick 4, or for the middle pick 4. Actually, we
it's 100,000, not
Middle,
50. You shorted the guarantee by.
I wasn't even given the correct number of the races, so
I meant to say that too. Ray did an okay job on this. We're just gonna, $100,000 guaranteed. Middle pick 4, 8 through 11. Couple corrections there. Robert, your ticket.
My ticket's going to be pretty cheap, so I'll bet it for a big number. Sylvia Hanover, the 5, and race number 8 singled. For me, race number 9, just the 1 and 2. That's Silver Label and Grace Hill. Race number 10, singling the 2, Air Power. And I'm going to single the 5, Confederate. Race 11, the Meadowlands Pace. Just $2 for $1. I'll probably press it for about 50. We'll hope for the best.
Mike?
I'm single spread key in the first leg, Sylvia Hanover, spread in that second leg with those mares, Silver Label, Grace Hill, the 1-2-5 max contract, Treacherous Dragon I'm throwing in for a price, and Test of Faith, single Air Power, and then in the big race I'll use Bucophalos, I'll use Christchurch, I'll use Confederate reluctantly, and El Rey. I would press El Rey for sure in that last race.
Derick?
I'm going in the Mistletoe Shalee race 8, 4 and 5, Cultured and Sylvia Hanover. In the 9th race, I have 1, 2, 5, 10, but I'm definitely coming back with a number of tickets keying max contract there as my top pick, who will be a good price and give me value elsewhere. Air Power and Oh Well in the 10th race, 2 and 7. And just Bucophalos and Christchurch in the Meadowlands Pace. It's 4-5 with 1, 2, 5, 10 with 2, 7 with 2, 3, $16.
Ray?
I'll preface by saying this ticket has the chance to give you back the return you put in or to make money. First leg, I'm 4, 5, 11. Cultured Sylvia Hanover, Strong Poison. Leg 2, I am 6 deep. 1, 2, 4, 5, 9, 10. Silver Label, Grace Hill, Racine Bell, max contract, Treacherous Dragon, Test of Faith. I'm single to Air Power. And then the 11th race, I'm 5, 6, 7. I wanted to see Hungry Angel Boy win because I think it would be funny. I think he's going to be a great price, though, so I definitely use him. At the same time, I might look at some tickets where I might try and key on some certain horses to try and add horses like Christchurch into the pace as well. I do think he does stand a chance. Even Ammo on the off chance, he could do the same thing that he's always done to win these races. So the ticket that I gave out is $27, and if you missed those numbers, it'll be in the handy dandy DRF newsletter, if I'm not mistaken.
It is in the newsletter.
Yeah.
DRF.com/harness. You could just click on the newsletter at the top, and we'll also tweet them out on the DRF Harness page. We'll put them out there.
Yeah.
Ray, you said that ticket either makes your money back or you turn a profit. What about the scenario where you lose $27?
Well, that is whenever you're talking about gamblers never accept they're going to lose. If gamblers accepted they were going to lose, I don't think anyone would gamble, period.
I accept that you're going to lose.
Well, you're not betting my ticket. You're betting your ticket.
Alrighty, I have got Sylvia Hanover and Strong Poison 5-11. If I'm going to key one of them over the other, I'd rather take Strong Poison over Sylvia Hanover, especially given what the prices are likely to be. I will single in race 9, the 2, Grace Hill. I'm intrigued to bet some exactas and tries with some prices in there, but I'll take Grace Hill on top. 2-5, we'll take Air Power as well as Gaines Hanover in the 10th race. And race 11, give me Christchurch. That'll probably be another key on a couple more tickets. And Confederate. What did Mike say? Reluctantly? Yeah, reluctantly. 5-11 with 2, with 2-5, with 3-5. That's $4. And like Robert, I'll probably find a way to spend $50 or $100 throughout some different combinations there. Thomas?
It was hard for me. I always, when I bet the pick 4, I always have a single lollies. I'm going to stick with Sylvia Hanover because there is not many horses I think can beat her. It's more the shipping and that she can't go in front, but she's been winning 11 and 12 races. I think we can get a little she's not going to be 1-5. She's maybe 4-5. I single Sylvia Hanover in the first race, number 5. In the second leg, I'm going to be 5 deep. I'm going to be with 1 Silver Label, 2 Grey Seal, 4 Racing Bell if she's going to be close, 5 Max Contract, and 10 Test of Fate. I'm going to have 2 horses in race 10, Air Power, and Oh Well with a close bridle. In the last leg, I have 1 Fulton, 2 Wukafalas, 5 Confederate. I throw on the long shot, 6 Hungry Angel Boy, and number 7 El Rey. It's a $2 pick for go with $100 on, and there is little value shot on it.
Alrighty, so that is a look at the stakes races on Saturday night. 14 races on the Meadowlands program. Meadowlands Pace Night 2023. We gave you some pick 4 tickets there, so we wish you the best luck on your wagering this weekend. Final thoughts quickly around the table. Ray Cotolo, I'm sure he's going to plug some Harness Land or something.
Yeah, Harness Land comes back next week. First of 3 episodes in the lead up to the Hambletonian and post-Hambletonian. That's going to be at Horse Racing Nation. I also have a fair odds piece that should be going up on Horse Racing Nation about the Meadowlands Pace sometime soon. And I don't know. I'm doing, Ed. I'm doing so much. And it's like you wake up the next day and you realize, oh, I got to do other stuff. I can't even remember what I do. Yeah, you get it. Just follow me on Twitter. I got to go to the bathroom. Thanks for having me.
Our author of the Horse Players Journal at Woodbine Mohawk Park, Robert Reid Jr.
Yeah, well, you said it. If you want to check out my thoughts and analysis on the races at Mohawk Park, the Horse Players Journal, I'm on the broadcast every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at Grand River Raceway. Do selections at many other tracks across Ontario. Something new I'm doing now too, select Ontario Sire Stakes events, mostly gold events. I'll be at doing social media, interviews with drivers, trainers, and whatnot, having a lot of fun at the track. So yeah, follow me on Twitter as well. You'll see all the stuff that I do.
Editor of the DRF Harness, Derick Giwner. We got a newsletter, I'm assuming, that came out today, and plenty of other great info from you leading into Pace 2023.
Yeah, some really nice stuff in the newsletter, drf.com/harness. You can check out all the content we have. We have a special Meadowlands Pace section at the top. We have some nice wagering promotion, a 7% rebate through DRF you might want to check out. But most importantly, more important than anything else, go to the track. Come to the Meadowlands. If you're anywhere in the vicinity, come to the Meadowlands. Come get a free shirt. I know I get one every year, and I give it to my daughter because she loves them. But come to the track, enjoy the racing. It's a great card.
Mike Pribozie, Nahu Picks.
I'm making the trip. I'll be out there on Saturday. So if anybody sees us out there, come say hello. NahuPicks.com. We got Johnny Rollis back for Meadowlands Pace Night doing the picks for us. So everyone seems to like his stuff too. And Jeff does a great job for us there. I do the Woodbine and Hanover and some other spots here and there. Do some videos for Ontario Racing, and I'm all over the place doing these podcasts with Edison and for Sweden and all these other racetracks. So I'm everywhere. You can find me on Twitter, everywhere else too.
Thomas, final thoughts from you?
Yeah, it's going to be Meadowlands. I'm looking forward to the card tomorrow. It's going to be a super good open card with the New Jersey Sire Stakes. I love seeing the 2-year-old coming out, and then we have the big day on Meadowlands. Going to go there up with my girlfriend on Saturday. It's going to be cool. Go to the window. Looking forward. I'm on Twitter. It's you can just search on my name on Twitter. I have hard opinions on Twitter, like Derick knows. So it's going to be cool. Just get people to come. If you are around the East Rutherford area, just come to the Meadowlands and watch the best horses.
Alrighty, well, racing fans, we thank you as always for tuning into the show. Mike Pribozie, Thomas Svensson, Derick Giwner, and I will all 4 be there on track in person, Meadowlands Pace Night. So come on out and say hi to us if you're in the area for sure. We're happy to talk racing whenever, wherever. And again, make sure to check out the other Meadowlands show that was published today with Jess Gotten and Greg Blanchard, the Meadowlands Pace review and preview show. That was on the Meadowlands Facebook page and YouTube. The archive stream is there. This stream, of course, will be archived for you to listen into at your own pleasure later as you're handicapping the card. PlayMeadowlands.com for the free racing pages each and every race night, not just Meadowlands Pace Night, at the Meadowlands, and that includes that Friday evening card tomorrow. 12 of the 14 races for New Jersey Sire Stake 2-year-olds, so we'll see a lot of them on the track. And Meadowlands Pace Night, come out, join us. I think there's a mechanical bull or whatever. There's the free T-shirts. There's the food trucks. I mean, you'll see Derick Giwner on that food truck. That's a mechanical bull because he's going to do it.
I highly recommend Clyde's ice cream food truck. I love it. Again, every time I go to the Meadowlands, I stop at Clyde's and get some ice cream.
I don't know what truck it was, but last week I had the winning burger, the best burger, which I think this weekend is Burger Battle or one of these weekends. The one that won last year I had, and it was very, very good. But either way, Racing fans, wish you the best of luck, and stay tuned to In the Money Media. We got all sorts of stuff coming up here. We've got obviously Meadowlands continuing with the Hamiltonian card. We'll have the Dan Patch out at Hoosier later on. We'll have the Adios coming up in a couple of weeks. We'll return to Sweden to Alby in a couple of weeks for the Hugo Oberg's Memorial, as well as Jubileumsbokalen coming up soon. So a lot of great racing content coming up here. And for me personally, it's busy. If anyone's in the area, saying hi. There's working gigs. There's fan gigs coming up. Obviously, I work the Meadowlands every weekend. Be a Plain Ridge Sunday the 23rd for Spirit of Massachusetts Day to lead that broadcast team again this year. Plan to be at the Meadows on Adios Day to do their broadcast, and we'll be back in time to the Meadowlands for Hamiltonian Eliminations broadcast night. And then Hamiltonian Day working, and then, a little bit of leisure. I'll be at Ocean Downs August 10th for leisure. And I think Robert Reid Jr., Garnett Barnsdale, and I are going to do a little hanging out the next week, a little leisure trip to Canada for me. Grand River Monday the 14th, Mohawk Tuesday the 15th, and that's my first trip to both those places, so very excited. And Ajax Downs on Wednesday. Got to check my quarter horses out as well. So with that, racing fans, we'll leave you. We thank you for joining and tuning into the show. Wish you the best luck and hope, most importantly, that you enjoy Meadowlands Pace 2023 this Saturday.